So, a couple of you asked, why am I carrying such a big sack around when I'm doing nearly wild camping filming? Well, the reason is actually I'm quite often out and about looking for wildlife as well. So I'll just very quickly show you some of the things I tend to carry. So the first is a tripod, a little mini tripod, and what do you call them, an extension basically for filming with your phone and stuff. They're really just if I'm trying to get at awkward angles or I want to set up a camera on my own, because I'm not necessarily out and about with other people. And this is, if I'm on the mountain, I'd carry similar to some of this if I'm wildlife filming on the mountain, but I'll also carry some of my mountain safety equipment. But glasses case, not very exciting. My pen, my wallet, another pen. That's a drawing pen, because I also do a bit of sketching, so I have a little sketchbook with me. And I've got a dog lead just in case she needs to go on a lead because of stock, with a few poo bags. And I've actually got a couple of pairs of laces in there, not just for using as spare laces, but also because quite useful little pieces of string. Because I'm never quite sure what I'm going to end up doing when I'm out and about. That's the top of it. And then if I take you into the next part of the rucksack, this rucksack's got a kind of lid area, and it's not as big as it looks because it's actually a camera bag as well, so it's heavily padded. But a pair of waterproofs, a very small first aid kit in a waterproof bag, some waterproof over mitts. These are really good for stopping your hands getting cold when it's very windy as well. And because I'm out and about in the Highlands a lot, I find them really useful, but not just something that you'll find useful in the Highlands. And they're great if you're on a bicycle as well, because it stops the wind on your hands and keeps them warm. And I carry a thin, it's one of these ex-army scarves, which are really good for just keeping the wind off your neck, but also you can put it over your face if it's really windy and cold and you're starting to get sinus pain. So, you know, I'm out and about at the moment in fairly cold conditions. I'm actually just near Ben Nevis today, and there's snow, quite a lot of snow on the hills, so I've got a little bit of warm weather stuff as well. If I was on the mountain, I'd have some more spare clothing, but I'm not. So this is just the sort of stuff I'm carrying out and about if I'm just doing wildlife filming and so on. These are some spare little lapel microphones, Rode microphones that fit with the camera. You can have two of those, and then two people can talk to one another. This bag I tend to carry with me all the time. It's just a wax cotton bag, really handy if I find something that I want to keep separate, or if it's delicate, I can put it in here and hang it on the outside of the bag. Or if it's fungi time, then I often collect some of my fungi in there. So I think the last big batch of chanterelles was in that. I've got an Olympus OMD camera with a good size lens on it. This one, because of the type of camera, this equates to about an 800mm for those of you who are interested. So it's great for wildlife filming and wildlife photography. And really luckily, we've been just out today doing a bit of filming for some nearly wild camping mini films and had great views of an otter. So luckily I was able to capture the otter as well. Binoculars, often I'll carry a smaller pair than these, but because we've been out and about near the coast as well, I'm carrying a bigger pair today just to make it easier to see at distance. A smaller standard lens for my camera for the close-up work and the things that I'm trying to film, maybe with a bigger scene in the background. Those are just some spare glasses for use on the mountains and so on, particularly because they're wraparound, so they won't come off. So if I'm mountain biking or if I'm doing more quickly, I quite often carry fingerless mitts because I find them really good if it's cold, wet weather. And I can still use my cameras, I can still use my binoculars, and I'm not having to worry. Finally, some lapel microphones, which just plug on here, plug it into my camera or into my mobile phone. And finally, some thin plastic gloves. Those are just if I find maybe a skull or something that I want to have a proper look at, and I'm not sure how clean it is, I can use those, and I know I'm going to be completely safe. And that's pretty much it. That's what I carry in my bag for going out and about, doing a bit of wildlife watching. And separate to my bag, but equally important, two key things. The first one's my mobile phone, which I've actually got a phone with a really quite good camera on it, because I do use it for wildlife and photographing plants and fungi and so on, for identification purposes, and particularly importantly some of the apps that I've got on here for identification. So for Nearly Wild Camping, great bit of kit if you're out and about, and I'm going to talk some more about apps and the ones that are particularly useful for Nearly Wild Camping visits and trips out later. And the other thing I carry quite often when I'm in the field is a Leatherman, pocket knife and pliers and so on. Partly it means if something goes wrong with my kit that needs a quick mend, I've got a screwdriver and so on. I've got a knife here and a few other bits and pieces which can be really handy if I'm out and about all day doing wildlife stuff. Often something will break or just needs a screw tightening or whatever. It means I've got the kit with me.